And we're live. And we're live for episode 17 of Slap Happy. That's right, we're here, we're doing it. Number 17, coming at you from my home, from my humble abode. You know, this is my office. This is where it happens. This is where the magic happens, you know what I'm saying? But today it's just going to be for podcasting or YouTubing or whatever I'm doing. You know, whatever I'm doing here, it's for that today. So yeah, episode 17. Look, guys, today, couple of things, couple of housekeeping things that I want to kind of get out there immediately. So number one, I have my screens open. Now, that could mean one of two things. Either A, I am trying to talk about some of the things on these screens in this episode, or B, I'm trying to trade while I'm shooting this episode. I'll let you guys decide. You'll probably figure it out as the episode rolls on. Might be a little bit of both. But yeah, I got my screens open because I'm just watching this AXE and the WEB, as otherwise known as Web. I'm watching them to see if they set up in the Arvo because your boy is thirsty for the Ox days, if you know what I'm saying. Anyway, so that's number one. Number two, I'm going to be doing a giveaway at the end of this episode. So stick around to the end of this one because I'm going to be giving away some shit. And it's not going to be hard to kind of go in the running to win some of that shit. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing a giveaway at the end. Now, before I get into the meatiness, I want to say please hit subscribe on my YouTube channel if you have not yet done that, because that would be dope. As I said, I'm trying to push for 1,000. I'm tracking along really nicely. I'm up to 860 odd, a few subs during the week. Yeah, people are subscribing. That's nice. I want to keep pushing. So yeah, if you've got a second, hit that subscribe button. That'd be dope. I want to say thank you to everybody out there that reached out after last week's episode. I found it really cathartic just to speak my mind and get some of that shit off my chest. And the fact that it resonated with some people, it reached some people on a very personal note. And, you know, those people reached out to me and, you know, it was just nice. It was nice to share, you know, some of what I was feeling with people and kind of, you know, have others open up to me. And yeah, just kind of support each other in any way that we could. And, you know, just everybody reaching out with their kind words was super lovely. And yeah, I'm really glad that I did that episode. I'm really glad that I got to, you know, say my piece on Tim and what I loved about him. And, you know, I'm really looking forward to, not looking forward to, but tomorrow I fly up to Sydney for his celebration of life. And obviously it's, you know, you never want to meet under those circumstances, but I'm looking forward to seeing my friends and just, you know, celebrating Tim together. So I'm genuinely looking forward to that, which means I am not going to be putting out an episode on Wednesday. That's why you're going to be seeing this today on Monday. Because, yeah, I'm going to be in Sydney and I'm going to be focusing on spending time with friends and family. So, yeah, episode coming out today. Yeah, but thank you for everybody that reached out. That was super cool. I genuinely appreciate everyone's messages. I see everyone's messages. I might not get back immediately. I'm trying to get better at that, but I do see everyone's messages. I see everyone's thoughts. I see everyone's concerns, and yeah, I see it all. So thank you to everybody. I want to do a couple shout outs before I get rolling this week. So firstly, I want to shout out some now everybody that I'm going to shout out in this episode, you can find them below. I'm going to shout out some music first of all. My brother Rūku put out a song last Friday, not the Friday that just went, the Friday before that, called Tough Love. TUFFLUV. Tough Love. Now, Rūku's making some beautiful music at the moment. I'm super proud of him, super proud of everything that he's doing. This song is no exception. He's creating great content, creating great music, and he's living that artist life and doing a really good job of it. So, super proud of him. Yeah, you can jump on the link below to go have a listen to that if you so choose. Also, my brother It's Blay, Blitz, BL1TZ put out a song called Jeans on Friday, and that song is just poppin'. Le Sore. And that's produced. It was mixed and mastered by Rūku, my brother. But yeah, that shit's popping. And then the other one is another brother of mine from Sydney. His name is Biz Lowkey, and he put out his debut project last week called assemblage. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but yeah, I'll link that below. And that's his first bit of work that he's put out into the world, and I'm super proud of him. Super excited for him, starting this kind of journey, and making himself kind of being vulnerable. Being vulnerable enough to put his music out there into the world. That's it's cool to see. The other shout out I want to do real quick is I want to shout out to everyone who got a shirt last week. So I gave it a bit of a spruik off the back of Jack buying one because, they were just sitting here and I hadn't pushed them because I was like waiting for the right time and shit. But look, I gave them a little bit of a push and a few of them got bought. And man, it was so empowering and it was so cool. Like waking up that next morning and packing them, writing a little handwritten letter out to every single person who bought one. Putting the stickers in there, sealing up that package, walking it down to the post office. I take a lot of pride in that because those people have gone out of their way to, open a site up, click some stuff, select some stuff, spend their own money on something that I built, that I put together. And that shit will always hit me. That shit will always resonate with me. And because I know how hard it is to buy stuff, especially stuff that like you're not 100% sure about, when you go out on a limb for someone. I know how hard that is. So, and just the whole process, like even though, we live in a world where things are incredibly convenient to get online, and, like the purchasing of things online is just out of this world convenient. It does still require an amount of effort. So everybody who went out of their way to buy my shit, thank you. I see you all. I'm super proud of the fact that, I could just kind of speak my mind and people are resonating with it enough to kind of want to support me in other ways. So yeah, that's super dope. Thank you. Thank you to all of you. Also, if you want to, I've still got some left, so I'm going to drop the link for that below here. And one more shout out. I listened to, so this guy that I follow, he's an entrepreneur, ex-rugby league player, played professionally for Panthers and Warriors, represented New Zealand. His name is Isaac John. He has a podcast called The Ice Project. He also has a clothing company that he owns with a couple of his mates, and it's called YKTR. Now, the podcast, Ice Project, I've been listening to for a while now, and he interviewed a young lady, the CEO of a company called Click Management. Her name is Grace Watkins. Now, we interviewed her a couple of days ago, and I just listened to that interview the other day, and it was wild. I loved it. It was so cool just hearing these two super passionate, inspirational young people talking about shit that they really care about and stuff that they're building and just how they're changing the world in their own way. And yeah, I fucking loved it. It was so cool. You could hear their higher selves kind of conversing. It's like you could hear the human beings talking, speaking English, but you could hear their higher selves embracing, and their aura was kind of hugging, and yeah, it was just fucking cool. It was a great chat, and I loved it. I loved Grace's come up story. Just the way that she's been able to turn shit around, or just build this thing with her brother. That basically she's a CEO of Click Management, which is a artist management company, I guess, in the gaming streaming content space. So she manages a bunch of gamers and streamers, and yeah, they're doing really cool shit. So yeah. I'm going to put a link to that episode down below. I don't know if it's everyone's cup of tea here, but I really enjoyed it. If you're into e-gaming, e-game artists or esports. Esports is the correct term. If you're into esports, if you're into entrepreneurship, any of that good stuff, I'm going to put a link to Ice Project podcast down below, as well as that specific episode down below. So you can go have a look at both of them. That's it for the shout outs. Now, I just kind of wanted to briefly chat about the reason I wanted to put this up on Monday was for two reasons. One, I'm going to Sydney, but also because I just wanted to briefly talk about what happened last week before we get into the meat of this week and we kind of, move into, March and then the rest of the year. It's already the end of February. Like, what the fuck? What the absolute fuck? We're a sixth of the way through the year already, and it was New Year's Eve yesterday. Like, what's going on? This shit's wild, man. The older you get, like, this shit just like, it just gets wild. We're almost at the end of Feb. But anyway, I just want to talk about last week, because last week was a crazy week on the markets. If you're a stonker like myself and you've been in and around the markets, you would have experienced probably the craziest week on the ASX in the last couple of years, at least of my short trading career. The last 2.5 years, last week will stand out as the wildest that I've experienced. It was just off its head for a bunch of reasons, which I'm going to go through now. So I managed to, and everyone was posting like record days, record weeks, record this and that. Everyone was doing record shit, right? Apart from me and a Stu, because I'm fucking, I'm avoiding that shit. You know what I'm saying? But everyone was doing record shit. Now, it was a really telling week, because it's like weeks like that, when the volatility's there, when shit's wild, it's easy to make money. It's not easy to make money, but it's easier to make money. And if you're good enough, you should make money, right? In a week like that. It's about when it like gets trickier. What do you do then? And I think it was a very, very obvious kind of sign of where my maturity's at the moment with my craft, with my trading. Because earlier in the week when it was super easy, I've got to stop saying that. That's very inconsiderate of me. Earlier in the week when it was easier and the volatility was there was money to be made, and I made it. But later in the week when it got trickier, I succumbed to that kind of FOMO, the fact that, thinking that it was still there when it wasn't, and I, toasted myself. So I ended up doing a record week. I did about 29K, which is 5K more than my previous best, right? Or maybe more, 6K more. Anyway, 29K for the week. And I also managed something that I thought was pretty interesting. I don't know if this is like some kind of record, but I managed to do my biggest ever single winning day, as well as my biggest ever losing single day in the same week. So on Wednesday, I did 12K, and then on Friday, I was minus 5.9 in the same week. So that's pretty wild, I think. Anyway, it kind of indicates to me that I'm just getting bigger. I'm sizing up. I'm kind of getting more involved, and I'm not afraid to get size on. So, like, there are some positives for me in the fact that I was, even though I took that big L on Friday, there is some positives there for me. Like, I'm happy with the fact that I was sizing up. I'm happy with the fact that I'm getting in these big positions, and I'm able to kind of hold my nerve a little bit more. The fact that I was like, I had like a really good day on Monday and Tuesday, and I didn't feel like super excited or joyous. It was just like, I did my job kind of thing. The fact that I took that L on Friday and was not like, and I wasn't like, oh man, like that sucks, like I wasn't real beat up over it, means that I'm kind of just getting used to this size and these numbers, which means that, obviously I can't get complacent, but it does mean I think that I'm kind of growing into my skin a little bit, and I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm testing some size and some positions and some setups that are just new ground for me, basically. As I'm watching this, AXE has just been absolutely slaughtered. It was just kind of like holding just under 10, and it's just been, the bid's just gone all the way down to like 102. So yeah, that's pretty wild. Anyone who was in that, yeah, that sucks. Anyway, so yeah, it was just I just found it to be a really interesting week for so many reasons. The highs, I guess the somewhat lows, but just it was a huge learning experience overall. Yeah, so on Monday, I started off going into Monday, I had been, I was battling a little bit. The first 2 weeks of the month, I was basically I was only plus 1,000 for the month, right? Through those first 2 weeks. On the Thursday of the second week, at one point I was at the lowest I'd ever been in my account. I was minus like 5.5K in the account, which is the lowest I'd ever been. Thankfully, on Thursday Arvo, I rode BD1 with as much size as I could all the way into the close, and I closed green. It was like a 5K trade on the Thursday Arvo. I closed green and was able to dig myself out a bit of a hole, and then get green on Friday to kind of get me back in the green for the month, which kind of relieved a bit of a pressure going into Monday, which meant I could, now that I'm not in drawdown anymore, I can kind of go for it a little bit more. So come Monday, even though I was only up 1,000 over the first 2 weeks, it was still green. And to me, psychologically, that just creates a little bit of momentum, right? I'm not in a hole anymore. And when you're not in a hole, I don't know, you just feel a little bit more relaxed. You feel like you can breathe a little bit easier. You feel like you can be yourself a little bit more. It's just easier to commit to stuff and to trade your setups, right? It just comes with a bit of confidence. So yeah, Monday morning, I got a bit of confidence because I'm not in drawdown, and it means I can just do my thing. So I traded the morning quite successfully on Monday of last week. IOU, SHG. I was plus 5.5, I think, after the morning session, and I went out for lunch. I sorted a little bit of business out, sorted a bit of business out with my brother, and grabbed the coffee. Came back in the Arvo and just rode BD1 again into the close, because that thing went wild for a few days there. So yeah, rode BD1 into the close and ended up posting just under 11K on Monday, which was amazing. Pretty great way to start what is generally known to be the busiest week of earnings, the third week. Great way to start the week. I knew that I wasn't far off, kind of getting it to click. I don't know. It's I have this weird obsession with starting poorly, or digging myself out of a hole. And it's actually strange. I used to play poker like this. When I would play poker, I played my best poker at 3 or 4 a.m. after I'd been playing for 16 hours and I'd been in the hole for 2K. So I'd go to the casino of $1,000, maybe $2,000 worth of buy-ins. I'd run through my buy-ins in the first hour and a half, and with my last buy-in, I would play that motherfucker with all of the sweat and blood and tears that I had until I got even. And once I got even, I got this second wind. And once I got that second wind, I actually played so fearlessly. It was what? It was this, I don't know how it happened, but it always seemed to happen. I remember so many times, some of the best sessions I've had, all the best sessions I've had were when I was in the hole early. And then, yeah, I think that there's one in particular that comes to mind 3 or 4 years ago, playing PLO. I was playing 1-3 PLO. I was, I had maybe $1,500 worth of buy-ins on me. I was kind of short stacking. I think I would have went with 10 $150 buy-ins, short stacking the 1-3 PLO. And I ran through them really quickly because it was a real, wild, flippy table. And I would have ran through them real quickly, maybe in an hour and a half. I've dumped my 10 buy-ins. I'm down to my last one. And with that last one, it's just all of a sudden there's no pressure. If I lose this, I'm done. If I fucking, if I do some courageous, Superman type shit, rise from the dead, then, it's it's all upside from there. I can't do worse than that, right? Dumping everything. So yeah, with that last buy-in, I just fucking run like God. I'd run like God, but I'd play just better. I'd just play better poker. And yeah, this one session, I went from minus 1500. I started the session at like maybe 1 p.m. And by like 3 a.m., I had like a 5K stack in front of me. And I was just like bullying the table, putting dudes in tough spots, like, you know, bombing stuff, just kind of like playing real good, big stack PLO. Yeah, and it's so strange how I do that. And I do that, you know, it's like it's kind of carried into my trading a little bit. Like I'll start the month kind of, you know, the last 2 months I've done it, you know, kind of scratching around for the first 2 weeks. Then I kind of get my nose in front, get back to green, and then boom, you know, big third week, and then, you know, Bob's your uncle. So yeah, it's very strange how I do that. Probably something I've got to do some, you know, soul searching on and figure out how I can, you know, I guess manipulate that to kind of work in my favor a bit better. But yeah, it's there. So yeah, then we get to like the Tuesday. So Tuesday, I traded the morning session like solidly. I pulled like, you know, maybe 3K, maybe 4K out of the morning session. And then I think the trade of the day for me there, even though like I smashed Zip and BD1 in the morning again, the trade of the day for me was the RBL. So RBL got absolutely toasted. Let me just pull it up here real quick. Not the daily. I want to, yeah. So RBL had the earnings on Tuesday. I think it opened up at like 6:45, and then it kind of puked down into like 560. It got to. Now I don't generally, like everybody knows my shtick. I'm a match scalper, and you know I just feel most comfortable there, so I kind of like to stick there. But I was feeling it. I was feeling myself a little bit, you know, but. I was kind of dusting my shoulder off, and you know, I saw these RBLs puking a 560, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna start buying this motherfucker. And then, you know, as soon as I did, I started accumulating around 563. I think was where I took my first piece, and I paid up a little bit more, built a stack. But as soon as I did, these buyers just like bang, 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 started like creeping up to the point where, you know, I ended up getting them all out at like 590 or something like that. It was wild. But it was a lot of fun. And yeah, generally, so I think for me that was an indication of that was another signal to me that like this week and this month I'm starting to like, you know, grow a little bit as a trader. Like that wasn't generally part of my playbook. I would do it a little bit on tilt sometimes, but very rarely I would make that trade, that buy the dip capitulation kind of trade. I would very rarely do that when I'm like trading, when I'm in a good mental spot. So the fact that I did that indicates to me that I saw it. I genuinely saw it. I saw the tape change. I saw the 560 holding. I saw the fact that it kind of broke down, you know, through 570 into 560 pretty heavily. And I felt strong enough to, or I felt confident enough to step in there and start buying it, knowing that, you know, this thing had been on a bit of a tear, was still fairly strong. And, you know, I didn't think that it could get any more vert there. So, you know, that felt good for me. That's not something that I tend to do. Not something, I don't tend to get that exotic, but I did. And yeah, I pulled 3K out of it, ended up doing 7.5 on the Tuesday. So that was nice. And then we get to Wednesday. What a fucking day Wednesday was. Can I just take a breath for a second? Wednesday was absolutely wild. Now, let me say this. I did pump my book a little bit at the end of the day when I posted my result saying that I made 20K in the day. I didn't make 20K. I'm sorry for fucking, you know, lying. I'm here to snitch on myself. I didn't make 20. It was like, ended up being like just under 12. I had 8K of open profit in PRL. Now, as we all learned on Thursday morning, there is a very, 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 very big difference between open profit and, unrealized profit and realized profit, okay? One is real, one is fucking Santa Claus, okay? Make believe, you know what I'm saying? Easter Bunny versus a fucking real bunny, you know? One is real, one is not real. Realized profit, that's in the bank, okay? You can cash that out. Unrealized profit, don't count your chips too early because you can get absolutely reamed, which I did Thursday morning. We all did. But yeah, Wednesday was a wild day still. Like, that zip short in the match. Had 10T short. It absolutely dive bombed into like low 12s, I think, from opening up at like 1370, which is absolutely wild. I got 5T out at like 1350 and the other 5T out at like 1302 for like 5.5K win to get the day started. Took a little bit in BD1, Sezzle short, and then that's when PRL kind of like I got my like perked my interest. Now with PRL, that was a wild one. Like I tried it a little bit earlier in the day, didn't work. Then I kind of started accumulating a little bit later in the day. I got up to 250,000 shares, I think, which is really big for me. So after 10 cents, as we know, it became a $1,200 a tick. Now for me, that's huge. So for anybody, for most people, that's huge. That's a lot of money. That's easily the biggest I've traded. So when that was kind of, when that fucking jammed it into the close and it, it's going from like 13 and a half, 14, closing at 14 and a half. I was just like, yeah. I was like riding that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I got 100,000 out in the match there because I wanted to lock in a bit of profit, but I ran 150T overnight, like all good traders. Okay, I just did the thing that all good traders do. I ran that motherfucker overnight. So yeah, I ended up. It was a record day still, but it wasn't the 20,000 that I was boasting about. Like, look at me go, boasting. Look at you go. Like, you feeling yourself that much, G? You think you're doing 20K in a day? You ain't doing 20K in a day, G. Ended up being just over 12. But anyway, so I took the 150T overnight, and then Thursday morning happens. What a fateful day that was. Like many of the traders on the ASX, sipping on Jameson and sniffing the cocaines, I thought that I was going to be a millionaire, maybe billionaire. Shit, do you know what it felt like? It felt like, have you seen that GameStop? Everybody's seen that GameStop GTA clip where, he's like, yo, man, you got to buy this shit. Going to the moon, baby. Diamond hands, baby. And then he comes back the next day and his homie's bought like the new whip and he's got the chain, he's got the coat. And he's like, yo, man, it's dope that you got this shit. And he's like, where'd you sell them at, kind of thing. And he's like, what do you mean sell them? You said it was going to the moon. You said diamond hands, baby. And that's when he realized that he didn't sell. And all of his dreams, we could imagine would have come crashing down shortly after that because, yeah, he was in a bit of hot bother. It was kind of similar with the PRLs, right? At 9:45 a.m. on Thursday morning, I thought that I was a millionaire, maybe even a billionaire. I thought that me and Billy Gates and Elon, I thought we'd be eating shrimp somewhere. I booked the one-way ticket to the Bahamas. I'd loaded up the garage with the Bugattis and the fucking Porsches and shit like that. And I just thought life was good. I thought I was made. I thought I was set. I thought life was good. And that was when I learned that very, 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 very quickly, unrealized profit and realized profit are not the same thing. Because that was such a savage kind of last 10 minutes there. As we all know, gapping up to like 17.5, ended up opening at like 11. So it got, I think, 10.5 maybe. It got absolutely trampled. Am I sweating there? Sorry, I am. Sorry, guys. There's a bit of sweat there. Yeah, it got absolutely trampled right into the open. So I got out for a small loss, and I vowed to never, ever, ever hold something overnight again. After that, I vowed never, ever, ever will I ever hold something overnight again. So I traded the rest of the day, ended up making about 5K with the IOUs and the zips. I traded like solidly considering the start. Yeah. But I vowed never, ever, ever will I take something overnight again. Now, what do I do? I do some amateur shit. I fail to get my IP1s out in the match, in the Arvo. And what do? I get stuck with 100,000 IP1 overnight. Like, when are you going to get it, Matt? There's filters. When are you going to get it? Just fucking get them out. Just get it out. Put your order in there. Put your order in the book. It's all good. Anyway, so yeah, I had me 100,000 IP1s going into Friday, and I had a feeling it was not going to be good. Then when I open her up on Friday morning, it wasn't good. And I could tell by the way that the book was setting up that I was probably going to instantly lose $1,000. And that's not a super fun mistake to make, but I made it. There, I said it. I did it. I got to stop doing it, but I did it. Should I have got him out? Should I have thought about it? Should I have got him in earlier? Yeah, but I didn't. So I had to take that on the chin, on the chinny chin chin. You know what I'm saying? Shout out my wolves and my I don't know what that comes from. Not by the hair on my chinny chin chin. Anyway, so yeah, started poorly, but I thought, do you know what? I've done the damage. I've had a hectic week. I'm up like 34K or something for the week. I'm up 34K for the week. Like that's ridiculous money. Like that's disgustingly good money. Like just you've done your job. Now just go sit on your fucking hands and do nothing else. And so that's what I thought. I went to the gym. I got some fucking pump on. You know what I'm saying? Got some pump on. And then I felt good. I went for a jog kind of thing. I did a bit of reading. I made a nice meal. And then I came and sat down on the Friday Arvo, and my intention was to just watch the Arvo session. Now, what does my gambling ass, chasing ass, FOMO having ass go and do? I got in an AQS. I got in a fucking IP1. I got in an MVX. I had 35,000 MVX into the close like a madman, thinking, oh yeah, this is going straight back to fucking the 345 or whatever it was. I know, higher, 385. I don't know. It was like, I just kind of got real tilty and chasey and ended up minus 5.9. So I went from about minus 900 because I had the little loss in IP1, but I had a little win in AQS, so balanced out to about 900 down for the day. Then I decided to go get incredibly chasey and gambly into the close to finish minus 5.9 and have my single biggest losing day on record. Now, am I proud of that? Not really. Do I think it's part of the game? Yeah, sure. It's part of the game. It's definitely a lot easier to swallow considering the previous 4 days that I had. If I'd have started the week with that, probably wouldn't have been the same thing. But the fact that I, started the week well and I positioned myself well for the month, made it a little bit easier to swallow. And also just the fact that I've been playing with so much size during the week meant that, some of the positions have been so big and some of the movements have been so big, I'm kind of becoming acclimatized to it. So, but, with that said, I failed to do the one thing that a good trader should do when things get tricky, and that's sit on my motherfucking hands. I didn't do that. I pushed the envelope and I paid the price. I paid the piper. I paid the piper. Don't know how much I paid him. Actually, no, I do. $5,900. So piper wasn't cheap. Doesn't come cheap. So anyway, that was basically the week. I finished, maybe like 29K for the week, which is a record week for me. Had a great week. Learned a lot about myself. Did a lot of stuff that I hadn't done before. Did a lot of stuff that I didn't feel comfortable doing, but now I feel a bit more comfortable doing. Just a big learning week, big learning curve. All of it learning. But I know that I need to continue to step my game up because I'm a long way from where I want to be. I know that I'm improving. I've just posted 2 back-to-back record months in a row. And I feel like, this is about to be another record month. Not record, but like second best month. I feel like this is about to be break that. So I'm heading in the right direction, but there is still lots of room to move. I still don't feel like a professional yet. I would much rather, like today, for example, I took 3 trades. I only made $1,900, but it was super clean. I felt in control. I scalped. I did my job, and then I got off, right? And then I also turned the computer off. No, but I got off the computer feeling like I had done my job, right? And even though it's significantly less than what I made last week, I feel way more. I feel like a professional. I felt like I'd done my job today, kind of thing. So yeah, that's just a bit about that, a bit about last week. Thought I'd kind of give you guys a little bit of insight into, the wildness of last week. And, just kind of some of the things that I was doing and thinking and feeling. So hopefully you guys get some of that, get something out of that, should I say. If you guys had a crazy week, I want to know below. Drop some of the craziest shit that happened to you last week. Can be in the markets, can be outside of the markets. I don't care. Because I would like to know how crazy everybody else's weeks were. And, did you do a record winning day and also a record losing day in the same week? Let me know. Let me know below. Anyway, as I said, I am going to do a giveaway. Now, I'm pretty excited about this. This is not something that I only really kind of came up with it a couple of weeks ago. And I thought, do you know what? This would be kind of cool. I've never done anything like this. I've given away my own merch before, but I've never given away something like, something of someone else's. I didn't steal this. I purchased this, and I want to give it away. So I listened to a book. There's a guy that I follow called Patrick Bet-David. It's BET-David. Patrick Bet-David. He's an American entrepreneur. He has the #1 entrepreneur channel on YouTube, right? Great content. I've been following him for years. Anyway, he put out a book. I listened to the book on Audible. When I drove up to Sydney, I think I listened to it for basically 5 hours straight on the way there, and then finished it pretty quickly after I got there. I loved it. So it's a book about business and entrepreneurship, which I don't consider myself an entrepreneur, but I'm always kind of trying to upskill and level my thinking up. So he's the kind of guy that I love the way that he carries himself. I love the way that he behaves, and kind of like the way that he runs his business. He's very smart, very charismatic kind of guy. Anyway, I went and bought 2 of the books. So I got the thing on Audible, but I loved it so much that I went and bought 2 of them that I had shipped over here from the States. And they arrived a couple of days ago, and I decided that I want to give one of them away. So one of them I'm going to keep because I see this book as like a bit of a textbook, like a learning tool. And the other one I'm going to give away. I'm also going to give away one of my tote bags, one of my Savilian tote bags, and a few of my stickers. So this is the book here. And just to show you guys, I did get 2. Okay, one for myself, one for somebody else out there. Now, the book is called Your Next 5 Moves, Master the Art of Business Strategy. Now, look, it might not be for everybody, right? But there are going to be some gems in there, I promise you. I don't care what business you're in. I don't care what sector you're in. I don't care what you do for a living. Being smarter tomorrow than you are today, even by 1%, is something that we should all be endeavoring to do. And I think this is the kind of book that is going to have gems in there that is going to make you go, oh, okay? I guarantee it. So I'm going to give one away. The way that I'm going to give it away is I'm going to do it randomly to one of my YouTube subscribers. One of my YouTube subscribers. So you have to be subscribed to my YouTube channel. That's right. I'm doing a YouTube push. I'm doing a YouTube subscriber push. And I would like to get to that 1,000. Now, I'm going to, by the time I put out my next episode next Wednesday when I'm back from Sydney, I would like to be at 1,000. If I'm not, that's okay. I'm still going to go ahead with this. I will announce the winner on next week's show. But in the meantime, subscribe to the channel, push it. And once you're subscribed, you're in the draw. So I will elect that winner and I will announce it randomly on next week's show. And that's basically it. I just really believe in him. I believe in this book. I believe in kind of, just wealth of knowledge. And this is my way of kind of like, 1, trying to get a little win for myself by growing my YouTube base, but also 2, trying to share good knowledge because I believe in what he does and what he says. Anyway, that's it for episode 17 of Slap Happy. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. I talked for way longer than I thought I was going to. Surprise, surprise. But yeah, we're almost at 40 minutes, so I'm going to sign off before we get to 40 minutes because if I get to 40, the floor's going to be lava and I'm going to die. So thank you very much for tuning in. Please subscribe. Check the links out below. Check all the stuff out that I posted, the songs, the podcasts, the books, blah, blah, blah. I really appreciate you guys following me. Really appreciate all the love. And I'll see you next week on Slap Happy. Peace.